All right, friends. Now, I know this is what you came for. This is our presenter, our musician. And did you notice the talk title? Check it out. The Child Reborn, a Wintertime Story of the Great Peace Ascending. Huh? Lay it on us, Mark. It's Mark Stanton Welch.
As you said that, I go, oh no, what am I going to say? So what comes first, the title or the talk? Sometimes something shows itself and then I'm aligned to it, as you probably are. And then sometimes just give a bunch of random thoughts and then put them together. And the next thing you know, I got to put this in somehow and say this. So, The Child Reborn, a wintertime story of great peace ascending. Whew. It seems that every time I've come and had the privilege to share with you, there are some themes that run through the work that I do because they're living themes for me. And those are the things that I keep underscoring. Things like the cycles of life, things like the way the seasons of the world shows up for us, things like the child self and the alignment with that. So I figured, let's put all of those together again and underscore the fact that this season has a power and a presence about it that no other time in the year has, because things have lined up. So because the month is on peace, I had to include some peace. So the whole purpose of all of this is to reclaim that inner place that then ascends outward, that place of peace that then feeds the world. Because in a sense, peace begins on the inside, as we know in principle, but oftentimes the moments are hard to practice that way. If you drive from Cambria on a morning coming here and you're 5 minutes behind, you know that peace is a relative thing. The moments deliver the opportunity for my child to be at peace or to be resisting. My hope and my intent is that my child continually finds that place of peace, maybe through successive rebirths. This moment feeds me. What am I going to do with it? I did some beautiful things in the way. I also did some things that I won't admit, because that's the way the moments show up. If the things that I don't want to admit, I'm willing to look at in my private time to use those as the food for how I show up in the next moment, then I am in alignment with what's been given to me. It's not always easy. It's not always easy to stand and introduce a song when the lyrics are going to be there. But that's the sport. That's the beauty of it. And so we punt as we do. So it's almost Christmas. So I was thinking of Christmas, and all these images came to me. One of them was the Sears catalog. Yeah. Some of you remember that. And then Sears catalog, and then UPS, and then FedEx, and then Amazon, and stuff coming in. And you know what I'm saying. That's a portion of Christmas that as a child, the Sears catalog was the Bible of that time, because it was bequeathed. It comes in and everybody kind of kneels down and wants to have access, and my brother and I have different views of what we're going to do. And being the youngest and the cutest, I figured I would get the catalog first. The direction was to dog ear everything you want. Now, to a child, you know what that means. Everything I dog ear is what I'm going to get. Now, back in those days, I don't think UPS was happening, or any of those delivery services. It was the United States Postal Service, and stuff came. So here's the anticipation and the excitement of the child who's going to be bequeathed with endless amounts of gifts. And then the day comes, and there's only one or two things there. So immediately coming down and going, so the mixture of the feelings come up. And this is the joy and the sorrow of that moment in time. Hallelujah. Because once that, and then it was about opening and finding one of the things that you wanted. And of course, it was the most important one, because you made it so. Christmas has a mix about it. And it's kind of been that way since at least 1952 for me. But I look around the room, and all except one of us have had a lot of experiences of Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. We could have a long conversation, hopefully with some good wine, and we would talk about Christmas days of the past. And don't you know, and here I go, there was so much precious stuff, and there was some crap. So what do I hold on to? Both. I don't hold them, but I recognize that was part of the journey. And what it did was to deliver me to a willingness to go home within me and find that place of peace that no matter what the form, I still show up 100%. I show up as the being that I came here as the template that I carry within me that we have talked about before, that is carried by that little child. Probably the songs I'm going to do, I'm just going to do excerpts because I have other things to say. And you know from the history, my songs are pretty long. So. You might recognize the melody on this one a bit. I did steal it. All I want for Christmas is a world of peace, a world of peace. Oh, pretty please, everybody living in a world of peace. Well, make it happen now. Everybody happy, they'd have everything they need. There'd be food on every table, we'd be clothed and clean. Smiles on all the faces, love in every heart. Clear communication and no words of harm. Well, I know that this sounds funny, but I know if we believe, bless you, we can have the kind of world that we all have dreamed of. 'Cause all I want for Christmas is a world of peace. Come on. A world of peace. Oh, pretty please. Everybody living in a world of peace. Oh, make it happen now. No wars and no confusion. Everybody dancing free. We would sing, we would share in all the world's beauty. And work, it would have meaning, it would elevate us all. We'd have leisure, time, and money, we would have a ball. Yeah, I know it sounds funny, but I do know if we believe that we can have the kind of world that we all have dreamed of. One last time, all I want. All I want for Christmas is a world of peace, a world of peace. Oh, pretty please, everybody living in a world of peace. Just make it happen now. Just make it happen now. So there's the intent of our day. Make it happen now, no matter the form. And there is a lot conspiring to support us in this magnificent universe and on this beautiful earth, and within us by our own design that we are called upon to use in these times. So, very quickly, in order to attain and make that peace a common element of my moments, I want to start paying attention to cycles, the repetition of things that occur within my life. Too often we kind of just go, yeah, things are happening, we don't pay that much attention to it, but we do know certain cycles. We know that, let's see, what have I got here? There are flowing cycles. Okay, skip that one. Because it was just a little bit behind. Life's a journey that moves in rhythm and in cycles. There are a myriad of cycles influencing the organism simultaneously, some seen, some unseen. Some cycles are short and others transcend lifetimes. So, body systems and biorhythms. Whether you're aware of it or not, while we're sitting here, a lot is going on by design. There's an organ cycle. There's a breath cycle, a heartbeat cycle. Emotions are cycling and moving. Brain waves, hormones. There's a menstrual cycle, a reproductive cycle. The cells are cycling and letting go and being reborn. Growth cycles. Chakras have cycles of the way they move. Our energetic system is fed by the cycles. And all we're doing is sitting here and listening. And all of this is going on dutifully and devotionally to each of us. There's nature cycles, as we know, the seasons. That's why I included wintertime there, because it's so critical. There's seasons, there's water cycle, weather cycle, tides, carbon cycle, geologic cycles, solar cycles, lunar cycles, celestial cycles. And we are impacted by every one of these, whether we realize it or not. And this is the beauty of it, and also a bit of the challenge. A lot of the stuff that comes up ain't necessarily our stuff. It's other things moving through to give us the gift of coming home. And I don't know about you, but I've been wanting to come home ever since I had to watch The Wizard of Oz. Over and over and over each year, I always wanted to go home. The symbolic energy of that to invite me back home and use my skills and talents didn't necessarily equate to me as a child, although it was happening on a cellular level. And there's a bunch of social community kinds of things. I'm aware that I'm always going over on time here, because I prepare too much, because you never know. But when it comes to the child, little child, precious Jesus boy, open my heart, fill me with joy, show me my true possibilities all through my life. I'm not here necessarily to celebrate that expression of childhood, but what it does to remind me of the greater truth of who I am. Thus, the season itself drops into these open arms. It says, come home, reclaim, get reborn. So, let me see about a song. Now, I'm noticing my voice sounds a little different today, but I've been singing a lot through the season. A lot of club work. Lord knows what that can do to a man. You know? There's a little child born every waking, breathing moment. A little child crawls out of the past. Another heart is open, another soul set free. Another life feels deeply at last. And the winter coats the countryside. Everything is still. And the child says, I'm hungry. Oh, the child always will. Me, I'm gazing inward at the ever-growing light, and I love with all my might. There's a little child heard when all the doors and walls are opened, a little child with bright, true eyes. Another memory fading, or another invitation gone. A little hand much closer to the prize. And the winter whispers change, but not everybody hears. And the child says, I'm ready. Oh, the child feels the fears. Me, I'm still gazing inward at the ever-growing light, and I love with all my might. The little one is calling, oh, the big one hears the voice, and the little one says, love me, oh, the big one makes the choice. Well, it's a very tender moment. It's a turning point in life. And that star shines so brightly in the sky. There's a little child smiling in an unprotected field, just sitting in this new worthiness just found. No longer in the shadows, and no longer one alone. But laughter, that's a very precious sound. And the winter leads to springtime. The ice is almost gone. And the child tells the papa, it's time to move along. And I'm still gazing inward at those ever-growing lights, and I love with all my might. All of my life I've held on, pushing love away and closing the doors, pulling the blinds, thinking I'd be okay for all of those times something held on the other side of what can be here in this time in my hand. My love, my destiny. The little one is calling, the big one hears the voice, and the little one says, love me, oh, the big one makes the choice. It's a very tender moment, it's a turning point in life, and that star shines brightly in the sky. The scene is repeated over and over and over as my adult self pays attention or doesn't. Do I hear that the child is hungry? Do I hear that the child is ready? Or do I go about my shtick? Nothing wrong with the shtick. Some of them are pretty cool. However, they were learned and they are usually pretty protective. That's not who we are. If I had the time, I would read a lot about the child self, actually. Let me read one thing. If I can find it, there's so much paper up here. Don't you love that when your whole talk falls on the floor? All right, so very quickly. guess I'm not going to be talking about that inner child thing. I'll just have to say what I have to say. The word on the celestial street is, we incarnate knowing exactly who we are. Right? We've probably talked about that in many ways. We come in with a template that has transcended all of the past lifetimes, future lifetimes, all of it. We have a frequency that is like a celestial fingerprint. This could be science fiction, or it could be what's going on. You decide. If I come in knowing the truth of my being, and everything is just, yeah, and I'm ready for this event, this life, and then the forms of life begin to happen. The cycles begin to play themselves. Everything is flowing until the first shh. Then I'm interrupted in my flow. And that begins my unique journey of how things impact my knowing of this child's self. The celestial influence of these times, you can call it 1987 at the harmonic convergence. You can call it 2000 when the computers are supposed to take over. You can call it 2012. You can call it whichever threshold we have walked through. They've all had a purpose to bring us home to our true design. This is the invitation of Christmas, and the holiday was literally born to give us the yearly reminder to come home. The challenge is that the holiday itself was put into a religious situation, and therefore the distraction became working on that as opposed to coming home. And that can be controversial in this world. But you know, you wouldn't be sitting here unless you knew of the template that you carry, that you know that you carry the design that is equal to or beyond anything that has ever been. How willing are you to open that present? How willing are you to say yes to that? How willing are you to ignore the forms and know that nothing is as it seems, and that you just go ahead and say, I am that I am, expressing as me, and then do that. In that frequency, we don't do lower frequency stuff for long. We see it right away, we shift, and we come to the point where we look at people in the eye and we recognize the beauty and the magnificence in each of us, no matter the forms. This is the gift of Christmas. The cycles of the seasons keep bringing us, and I've talked about fall before, where just look outside, where everything starts to just kind of slow down, and the colors change, and they all move towards the lower chakra colors. In other words, it's bringing down to the places where we've stored our debris. And then there's nothing left on the tree. It's just that starkness, and that gives us the winter. So in the winter, we get the chance to incubate. Once the incubation is done and we've absorbed that which we are ready to absorb, then we are reborn, and we see it as New Year's Day. It's a beautiful cycle, and it happens over and over and over. It isn't until you get it, it's just when you get it. We have an opportunity every season simply to witness that magnificent part of ourselves. And the joy, the childlike joy of Christmas morning, even if it's just a memory, is legitimate. That's the excitement and the magnificence of our design when we touch the hem of that garment again. How willing are you to walk your walk and to turn away from what's considered normal? Do you know how hard it was after 2020 to find normal, and how everybody was clamoring for a normal? Stop it. There's no such thing. The moment gives you the form of you to be present. So the clamoring to go back to a norm, let's call it counterproductive. I am rolling around here all over the place. How many more minutes? 2 hours? All right. So here we are on that morning. You're at your point of choice, and whether you use the holiday or whether you decide in this moment, and then this moment, and this moment, you're going to do this. Here's one of the things that happens. For unto us is born a child on this morn. Rejoice and sing ye praises on this bright December day. With angels all around, we hear a holy sound. For Christ is born among us on bright December day. Hallelujah, we sing blessings to the boy. Hallelujah, open up and fill his joy. For God is reaching all across this look upon this face. Remember ye this moment, this merry Christmas day. Just celebrate Merry Christmas all, a blessed gift from God. May you live in love and peace with life, a sweet bouquet. That's the moment of exhilaration of remembering and reclaiming that part. You know it, you've all felt it, probably many times. I bet it keeps you coming back here because there's those moments that just go, wow, I remember this. This is me. And then we got to go out and do me. There, the one that people are used to. Do you ever wonder why people leave? It's not because you're irritating, but because you are of a higher frequency and they just don't want to be reminded of what they're not doing yet. That's a fun one to play with, isn't it? We do have that power, and in the big picture, it means nothing. Be you, grasshopper, is the word, isn't it? Be you, grasshopper. But first, we have to go home to find out truly who I am. It ain't so hard. Do you think all of these celestial events and the things that are occurring in society and all of that are accidental? There is a big picture. And the big picture is that we are opening up. It's not easy, but boy, it's an adventure. And we were made for it. Suppose that you, at the point of incarnation, knew exactly what you intended to do when you got here. And you also knew that there would be things in the way. And you also knew you had everything within you by design to handle whatever comes up, whether you know it or not. So the wisdom of having an experience and something in front, and then to take a breath and step back, allows a template to take action. It allows my cells to restructure, to give me that which is absolutely perfect for the moment. We are that powerful. And yet it's not necessarily power. It's just who we are. So I guess I'm here on this sort of pre-Christmas day at the tail end of a gala weekend that you guys had, still feeling the energy permeating the room, finding spoons out there on the table and stuff. It's like wondering what happened. Wishing I was here. Here we are. Here we are at a moment in time. I think what I really wanted to say is on the floor. So I'm just going to let it stay there because it's so much more fun to just punt. Okay, we're going to do the one thing that will consistently activate the child within, and you're going to go, oh God, it's the birth name guy. Let me read you something, just quickly. I know my 5 minutes is slipping away quickly. Okay, a primary key to expanding into the full expression of all that we are is the use of the original birth name. No. First, middle, and last, the frequency recalls a perfect state within us at the point of incarnation. Speaking the name aloud pulls us immediately to that original frequency, serving as a wake-up call to the calls and the systems to align to the wake-up call to the cells and the systems to align to the true design. It's a temporary process that initiates a frequency change. The more one chooses the action, then the more likely one will sustain the frequency. Abilities expand and the information floods the cells, giving rise to deeper understandings and acceptance of this once very familiar state of being. Lower vibration memories, patterns, beliefs cannot remain in this new frequency, in this new vibration. They're transmuted and sent to the light. The way we are and how we show up in our moments of living are elevated to allow us to find balance, clarity, and peace. Conscious choice to use this technique informs the multiverse that you are willing to release and let go the old ways and the patterns. And thus, you will be fed with opportunities to do just that. Don't you love it? The moment we intend it, bam, there's an opportunity. Bam, there's another opportunity. Bam, another one. So, choose the gift wisely. Your life will quickly change. So, if this holiday is about you reclaiming your child self and simply using your name, why not? Let's practice. And as I always say, sometimes we have baggage around the whole name. Mark Stanton Welch, get in here! That's in the cells, the memories of those moments. So I say it and I release that history. The more I speak that name, the more I'm aligned with it and the more peaceful I get. Bless you again. So, and women, when you took on the name of the man, you think that was accidental? If we look at the big picture, I'm not going to start a controversy here, but to have you take your name and force something else on it, as beautiful as it is, has a cost energetically. And there's a bit of an energy that invites you to not be your whole self. I don't know. Books have been written about these kinds of things and the way the differences are. I'm here to say you can have whatever name you want when you're out and about, but when you're privately with yourself or in your space, call yourself who you are. I don't like Stanton. There was no reason for Stanton. Mom saw it in a book or something. I was thinking, is this someone famous from the family lineage? No, I just found it in the book and it sounded good. But now that I go, Mark Stanton Welch, that's boom, bum, bum, boom, boom, bum, boom. What a power there is that I've had to learn to grow in. So I use it all the time. One cool thing to do after we do it, when you cross the threshold, because new energy's on the other side of that doorway, come in with your power. Speak your name. I envision when I used to fly all the time that I'd get on the plane and I'd go, Mark Stanton Welch! And then sit down and leave everybody with their thoughts. Because what I did is I called myself into my fullness and my power. To be present, however that flight would unfold. All right, enough of this. I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to do it 3 times. Okay, here we go. Your name out loud. If you get caught up and want to say Mark Stanton Welch, I'm totally fine with that. But, use your own. 1, 2, 3. Mark Stanton Welch. Okay. Again, we do this. We shrug because there's energy with it. We just kind of let that go. So one more time. 1, 2, 3. Mark Stanton Welch. Feel it coming from underneath. And if you are hesitant to do it, hallelujah. And if you're hesitant to do it, let's do it. If you close your eyes, you'll be alone in the room. And no one will be looking at you. Call it forth. 1, 2, 3. Mark Stanton Welch. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. Mark Stanton Welch. And so it is, and so it is. Oh, there's all those points. Oh, darn.
Okay. Oh, come on. I came all this way. Let me just, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Deep, there we go.
Walk in this frequency. Deep, deep December, California sun, tempering the cold spell. Christmas pageant went well, sitting here with Jesus on my mind. Right here in this heart lies holiness, golden light, gifted by the babe of long ago. Deep, deep December, season singing love, reaching out, reaching in, tenderness, touching friends, sitting here with Jesus on my mind. Every day is Christmas morning, every breath I'm reborn, blessings to the babe of long ago. Jesus, Jesus, deep, deep December, heart is open wide. Maybe we can keep it so, as o'er the earth we all go. Could we keep it building on our minds? Love it what we say and do, to our essence true blue. I commit, how about you? Peace on earth would ensue. Oh, oh, oh. Merry Christmas, one and all. Please remember who you are. All this giving, all this joy, we kindled by your own precious child. And on 3 we repeat our birthday. 1, 2, 3. Mark, Stanton, Welch. And so it is. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.